Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese and France, Mickey. What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John.
I still want to make a dick joke about the measuring success thing, but I did that already, so I won't. I'm JD.
I'm back. We here at Superhero Speak are completely professional.
No,
When did that start?
What's the point of that?
It starts right about after I get halfway through this.
Is you're drinking on the air? Come on, man.
That's very professional of you.
You don't know what this is. That could be apple juice.
This is clearly a Coke. I don't know what you got in your glass.
This is clearly water.
It's clear water, actually. Unlike that colored water you get from like fracking places.
Ooh, yeah.
Or from Ohio right now.
Anything from Ohio, really. Ohio.
Yeah. Actually, the water there probably glows.
That's how they like it, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to our fans in Ohio.
All the offense to our fans in Ohio.
But it's not offense to them. It's offense to the train company that allowed this to happen.
Well, that is true too.
That's how they like it over there.
Yeah, true.
Right, well,
they're all about it. They want the sludge.
DeWine let it go.
Natural disasters aside, how's everyone doing this week? John, did you survive Valentine's Day? How are you doing?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
It doesn't exist in your world?
What? You said something, but I didn't quite pick out the words. Something.
VD Day.
I. That's a complete.
Venereal.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He's got great experience with that. Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah. Let me put it to you this way. This morning I got up and I said, "Well, I've got my appointment with my accountant. I need to do my bills and I need to get my taxes together." So I got myself together. I took a shower. I got some caffeine. I was all rested and ready, and then I'm pouring my cup of tea, and I didn't like where the cup was, so I spent the next 4 hours rearranging the kitchen. Attention deficit disorder affects billions of people, and it's no joke. Let me tell you.
All right then.
So yeah, that's been my week. I've been so destroyed by work that climbing that corporate ladder like crazy this week, and so I can't remember my own name half the time, which is better than most of the time when I can't remember it at all. But,
It's mud, right?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Or hey, you idiot, or any number of things. But yeah. So that's it. Nothing else to report. How you doing, JD?
Not bad. State tournament. Just got back from it today. So.
I saw pics.
Yeah. Was down from last year. Last year we were, one of the best teams in the country and had a great tournament. This year we're rebuilding, and we had 4 qualifiers and a place winner, and it was what it was. Got to take my son out there for the first time though, because mommy had surgery on Monday. She had just her sinuses. She had like a thing done to clear out because she's been sick on and off for about 6 months.
Mm.
So they recommended her getting her like sinuses like literally like scraped out, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, good times. So
My
I took
brother had
Andy-
that done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so far so good though, but she's doing better. So I took the kid with me down to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, and he had a good time. So it was a lot of fun. Then we went and saw a movie today.
So what I'm
Yeah.
hearing from that is you didn't do anything special for Valentine's Day with the wife.
No, I was gone. I was not in town. It was actually our 25th anniversary as a couple. We started
Wow.
dating on Valentine's Day because we were teenagers at the time. So that was lame and corny. We traded it up for a better holiday. When we
Does that
got
put
married.
pressure on the relationship though, starting off on Valentine's Day?
You'd think so, but no. Well, neither one of us are super sentimentalists. So
Yeah.
we're like, oh, hey, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Hey, we're still together. Isn't that cool? I got to go. So, no, nothing. Like I said, neither one of us are real sentimental when it comes to things.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Like, yeah, we're not like she's not real big on those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like we don't do a lot of gift stuff mainly because we're poor. Now we just give the kid things. So it's more about that. Who's echoing? I'm hearing me.
I don't hear it.
I hear you too, but only one of you. Wait, hold on. I can fix that.
Oh, there you go. Now you see 6 of us and only hear one. So yeah, that was my weekend. Yeah, nothing special for Valentine's Day. State tournament week. That's what's important.
Exactly.
Dave.
Priorities.
Oh yes, she gets it. Dave, I assume you did something for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we went to Karen and I went to dinner and then exchanged gifts. She got me a great shirt. I was going to wear it tonight, but it's in the wash. It says "Best David Ever" on it, so
Okay.
as I am. Yes. Sorry.
Does she mean on the block?
What's you and who's the other one? Duke.
Within your
definitely
neighborhood?
better than David Duke, so I'll give you that.
Yes.
That's the first one that popped in my head. That would have been funny.
So,
I don't got any more. So
So it was our second Valentine's Day together, so that was nice. And then, but it's a Tuesday, right? Like both have to get up for work the next day.
who can go out on a Tuesday night?
Right.
It's
like,
freaking Tuesday.
We went to dinner. We exchanged gifts, hung out for a little bit, and then both went home and went to bed. So, yeah. But this weekend we both finally finished watching Wednesday on Netflix.
That's such a weird sentence. This weekend we finally finished Wednesday. That sounds like a work joke.
See, I finished Wednesday on a Thursday. So
I thought it was really good. It did keep you guessing until the end, except by the time you got to the last episode, it then became obvious, like who the monster was and what was really going on.
Well, that's because she basically worked her way through everybody.
Exactly.
There
was no one left by the time you get to the end. So
not exactly the brain surgeon we were hoping for, but she does.
We enjoyed it, and they definitely set it up for season 2. So
yeah, it's still enjoyable. Yeah,
definitely. Enjoyable. Who knows if we'll get a season 2? It is Netflix. They're notorious for canceling shows. So, but yeah, that's about it. And then we went and saw a movie today that we'll be talking about in a little bit. But yeah, that was my weekend. This should be interesting. Moving on, let's talk about a little social media madness, guys. So we're going to start off easy. Now that we are a YouTube show, we're going to be doing this live. After the show airs, everyone, you know that you can go back if you missed the live cast and you're watching the rebroadcast, on YouTube, then make sure that you click that like and that subscribe button.
Oh,
and
we're getting fancy.
And
like,
then leave a comment.
Subscribe.
Yes.
You don't have to leave a comment. That's optional.
Well, it helps with the algorithm.
It does help with the algorithm, but then we have to read them, and then that does not help with my day.
So first off, we had our good friend Joey from the So Wizard podcast said, "Love seeing two of my favorite pods come together." So of course, last week Randy filled in for JD from Cult 45, and that was a lot of fun. That's what I said. I said the episode was a lot of fun. Randy replied, "I also will have to agree that this was really a lot of fun." Um, and then Screen and Nerd said, "So true on Supergirl and the Flash." And Comic Book Nostalgia said a long road, meaning to the end of the Berlanti verse or the Arrowverse, whatever you want to call it. So, did you
This
end up watching the episode last week, JD?
I haven't watched anything. I'm the only thing
No,
I've
no,
seen
no.
in the last week.
No, did you listen to the show?
I did not. I was at the state tournament all week.
Uh,
I didn't do anything. All I did was coach. I haven't watched a TV show. I haven't read a book. Like, I'm lucky I got to see this movie today.
wow.
We're lucky too.
Oh,
So-
you think so? Yeah,
Uh-oh.
we'll talk about this. Continue.
fun.
All right, then. Moving on. That's all the comments on the video. So again, if you're watching, please don't forget to comment and like, and please subscribe. And yes. Moving on, we talked not that long ago about Bubba Hotep.
We did.
It's
Yes.
still on my list to see.
Yes, our good friend 8-Bit Ray would like us to do the movie on this show with him. So we'll be doing that. And we had Miss Peaches say, "So which one of y'all ain't seen Bubba Hotep yet? Because I'm waiting. I know it ain't 8-Bit Ray."
You know what? If like I haven't seen it, this would be a perfect time to try and do a was it a first viewing, right?
Oh,
or
thought you
or a
thought you were going to say a coffee enema.
well, or, yeah, sure. But I mean, a reaction video, like we do, like a lot of people do reaction videos.
They do.
And
I
they
haven't seen it.
They get views.
How does one? Hey, Ulysses is on. I watched Spy
Ulysses.
Kids 3 over Ant-Man 3. We will discuss this.
Wow.
Later. Howdy, dorks. Oh, that guy. It's me, your comic book reviewer in residence. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Anyway, what were we talking about? We were just talking about something, and Dave started throwing the comments
Bubba
at me.
Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. Sorry, I also have
Reaction
the ADD.
videos, yeah.
I also have the ADD. I'm like, ooh, pretty bird.
At least you're not cleaning the kitchen right now.
Thank God. So I haven't seen it in years. Like, how does a reaction video go, and how is it any different than what we're doing now?
We watch it and we record while we're watching it, like we did with Snyderverse, with the Snyder cut. And,
Yeah,
but
8-Bit Ray
in
said-
a better way where we don't get copyright struck immediately.
I know JD Olivia
Oliva!
Sorry.
Ha ha ha!
Has it's the
Whatever,
old guys that
O'Grady.
need to get hip and jiggy with it. Oh my god.
That's right, Ray. Yeah. You old bucks.
Olivier, JD Olivier.
Oliva. It's olive with an
Oliva.
A.
Yeah, there's no
Olive. It's Italian for olive.
Oh, so we'll just call you Olive from now on.
Whatever. JD is fine too.
Now I want Olive Garden.
Oh.
Said no one ever.
Speaking of Chris, he did put a review up on the website this week. It's Icon versus Hardware from DC Comics. And Denny's Cohen, who is one of the artists on the book,
Dennis.
retweeted us and said 9 out of 10 capes. We'll take it. Yes, it's a great review. So if you have not gone to superheroespeak.com and read that review yet, go check it out and you'll go and pick up the book, I'm sure. So, yeah. All right. So shout out to Chris.
So, want to hear a funny story? I loaded up my iPad full of DC's Dark Crisis and Infinite Earths event. I was getting ready to read it over the weekend. But the fact that I thought I was going to have time to read when I had my 6-year-old with me is hilarious in retrospect. But my wife cleaned up and put my iPad somewhere, and nobody knows where she put it.
Oh.
So I got like a bunch of books ready to go on my iPad, but I don't know where my iPad is.
Can't you use Find My iPad or whatever? Like they have that.
Yeah, don't they
I
have
don't think
that
I have
now?
that. I don't think I have. I'm sure they do, but it's a 2016 iPad, and I never turned that function on, and don't know how to find it. I don't know how to use. I don't know how to find My iPad. Basically, is what I'm telling you. Oh, I got a new phone too. My phone before I left for the tournament started randomly FaceTiming people, and the screen didn't work. So if you got a random FaceTime
Interesting.
for me this week, sorry. So I got the new iPhone 14.
Huh.
Actually, one of those.
iPhone people? Does that surprise you in the slightest that I'm an iPhone person?
No, not
Yes.
at all.
Come on. Pretty obvious. Been
Ulysses has been reading Batman Beyond with White Knight.
Beyond the White Knight. And that's
Beyond the
that's
White Knight,
Joker.
sorry.
That's Joker as Batman, correct?
Yes.
I never read that. Hi, Astro. Do you want to say hi? Hello. Yes, I love you too.
So you missed this last week too in Social Media Madness. So we talked not that long ago about what's his face from the first Blade movie.
Wesley Snipes?
No, the guy who played Frost.
Oh yeah. Brad Dourif. No, Steven Dorff.
Steven Dorff. Yeah, came out and like basically bashed that Marvel's making a remake. It's funny because the comments that we keep getting on this is the fandom is actually seems to be split down the middle. So yes, who's at yes CHF said, who's going to play Blade? Hard to think of anyone as good as Snipes for it.
Mahershala Ali. We discussed this like 2 years ago.
We already know.
I thought this was like common knowledge.
Joan Wolf said, I'm not going to go that far, but I do think Blade is one of the best Marvel films to be made. It has some big shoes to fill, and I don't know if it can fill those shoes.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, the thing with Blade is that it was a creature of its time.
Yes, very
like
much so.
Overly cool dialogue that was just that was just there for being dialogue. Like everything was aligned.
Trying to
it's like
have what's the catch lines that they can use in scripts and commercials and stuff.
Catchphrases, right? So and Wesley Snipes was a creature that inhabited that point in time.
Do you know how?
So I don't think that the Blade that they'll have now is not going to be the same as that Blade, and that's okay.
And nor should it.
And the younger generation will go along with it. It's people like us. Well, not people like even I'm not that hooked on it. That movie's still going to be around even if I don't like New Blade. But the thing is that it's time for a new Blade where it's more low key, cool in a more subtle way than
you want Loki in the Blade movie.
No, that would be awesome too. I mean,
so do you know how I know Blade was a movie of its time? Blood orgy set to techno music.
Yeah.
At a rave, blood orgy rave set to techno music.
Pretty much.
Wasn't Dorff in True Detective Season 3 with Mahershala Ali? Possibly. I never saw True Detective Season 3. They lost me in this episode 3 of True Detective Season 2 because it just wasn't cosmic horror, basically, which is what True Detective Season 1 was, so I didn't see it. Ulysses says, issue 8, the finale left a big cliffhanger and leads up to the next sequel. I don't know what he's talking about. What's that? What's he talking about?
I think he's talking about the White Knight.
Oh, the White Knight. I forgot. Sorry. ADD. I keep telling you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on from one day to the next. I don't know. Blade's awesome, but I mean, I don't think it's unremakeable.
Right.
I mean, we're gonna see Michael Keaton return as Batman after 30 years. So
right.
I mean, what matters anymore?
Handsome Dan Lopez said, "Outburst."
That's a name.
Outburst is a little stiff. It's just an opinion. I personally think it's mostly garbage too. Well, Dan,
who am I to argue with Handsome Dan?
If you saw the quote, it was more than just an opinion. He had a lot of salty language.
It's Steven Dorff. Who cares? Ultimately, it's a guy who doesn't work a whole lot. Am I wrong in that? Steven Dorff had a long-running series that I don't know
Peter
about?
Jones says we're right, but what are we right on?
Thanks, bro. Everything.
Like being told you're right.
Ulysses, you've gone too far. All right,
yes,
Ulysses, our guy Ulysses says,
Ulysses.
hold on. Whoa. Daredevil
wasn't
2003 it's bad. Is the best Marvel movie that even Stephen Norrington, who directed the first Daredevil, says, this week he went, I definitely went too far. I tried to do too much.
Yeah.
Understatement of the last century, actually.
Definitely
Yes.
remakeable. Blade,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely remakeable Blade. It's not. There's more you can do with the character. Oh, bring me to life. Yeah. Evanescence, Wake Me Up Inside was
Yes.
the hit track from the original Daredevil movie. I got to be honest, that was a jam, and it holds up pretty good.
The
I
song,
use that.
yes, but
The song's great. I use that in a
not the
wrestling
movie.
highlight video in college.
All of
It worked great.
Evanescence's stuff is good. You know.
Yeah, they were good. Like they were actually like the new metal era. That's like prime new metal era. Most of that stuff is shit, but like they actually aged pretty good. Like you can go back and listen to some of Evanescence, and I don't know if I forget what her Amy. Can't remember the name of Evanescence's singer. I think it was Amy something. But her stuff actually, I think it's her voice, and like it actually ages pretty good. You looking it up, John? What's the singer from Evanescence's name? I want to say Amy Grant, but I don't think that's correct.
No.
Amy Grant, no, Amy Grant moved on to Christian rock. So
yes.
So I'm way off.
Terry Balsamo?
Amy
Lee.
Amy Lee. I knew
Amy Lee, yeah. And she had pipes.
She did.
She has pipes.
Not to be confused with Geddy Lee, who also has pipes and apparently looks like Dave, as we've been told.
Are you watching, Don?
I miss Amy Grant's earlier work. She went way Christian hard right.
I did not, apparently, because I got her confused with the singer from Evanescence. So clearly,
they are not. Yeah.
All right. We have our weekly rant from Kassan. Warren.
Weekly?
These are good.
So
he does.
starts off. Wait,
they're good.
John.
Oh, dear
he
goddess.
starts off with, "I agree with John."
Oh.
Well, obviously, this man is intelligent and handsome and knows what he's talking about.
Okay, I hate plot contrivances that force tension to cover plot holes as well. Writers in Hollywood have become lazy, or the studios behind the writers have lost a competent leadership presence.
Yeah.
I don't agree that superheroes can only rely on superhero drama to carry a story. You can have so many villains or situations for a hero to overcome before it becomes redundant.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Heroes need interpersonal conflict. They need to be brought down to humanity's level for the audience to be reminded that their vulnerability. Sorry.
Also, for the
hurts.
audience to be able to relate to them.
Everyone deals with loss. A hero doesn't make them immune.
Right.
I'm also against the plot armor and
shifting power
levels often found in superhero media. One moment the hero can overcome villain A with their powers, but villain B shows up. Those powers used against villain A suddenly becomes feeble.
Yeah. Power scaling and plot contrivance power
and that
levels
does
are
happen
just
a lot, especially on TV shows.
like Cracked, right? Have do you guys know? Right? They used to be a thing. Thanks, Amy Grant. Right? They used to be a magazine, but they have a couple of YouTube channel right now. But they made fun of that of the Flash TV show because it's like. They would be in the control center and Cisco would be like, okay, we've got a bank robbery and Flash would say, I've already taken care of it. And it's like, but no, wait, you have to wait until they try to shoot you. It's like, but I'm faster than them pulling the trigger. Why are we doing this?
Right.
It's like, it's like the whole thing is why was anything like that? Like even Captain Cold, why was anybody a challenge for him? Because he could move faster than they could shoot a gun.
That's the cool part about so this is why I prefer the Mark Waid run on the Flash more than the Jeff Johns run on the Flash. This comics, I lost interest in the series in like season 3, so I checked out a long time ago on the Flash TV show. But that's my dog is causing trouble behind us. You can see actually on the screen.
Oh, good.
I'll handle him in a minute after I make my point. The Flash should be is at its best doing high. Like concept sci-fi stories, less than, and I like the Rogues, don't get me wrong, but I think that it's at its best when it's dealing with a lot of stuff. I have to go take care of this, guys. I will return momentarily.
Okay.
Okay.
But I see now. We here at Superhero Speak, we revel in the minutia and in normal life aspects. We bring those into the show. We do not hide this stuff. So anyway, yeah. And yes, Ulysses, you're right. Like anime is a perfect. Anime has lots of examples of power loving or power scaling issues, where you can do one thing one day, and the next day you can use the same Kamehameha wave, and suddenly it doesn't work for plot reason. But go ahead, JD. You were.
Oh, I got nothing. I was trying to get my dog out of my closet before he.
Oh yeah, but you were talking
causing
about
trouble.
something about that before. So.
Oh, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. I was talking about like Flash, why the Flash
Yeah.
is difficult because he's a god level superhero, but he always like the Rogue stories were good because they affected like Barry and Wally specifically, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why those work. But that's what made Mark Waid's run with Wally West really cool. It's because he was talking about the Speed Force and he was talking about why these things work and trying to get another a different level with the Flash stories. And I don't think there's ever been a better run on the Flash character than what Mark Waid did. God, 30 years ago now. I have to go die. I'm old.
Actually, I should read that if you're suggesting.
Oh,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
If you're old, what are we?
Ancient.
Yeah,
you are the great old ones who sleep in R'lyeh, waiting for the day when the great Cthulhu will come and lay waste to us all.
I'm what archaeologists dig up.
See, Chris knows what I'm saying. He goes, Wally West greater than Barry Allen in the comics. Anyway, 100% all day, all night.
Right. Well, Wally West. I mean, first off, his storylines were better, and second off, he's the one who generates the Speed Force anyway.
Well,
and that was
in continuity at the time. They retconned that, but I mean, like, yeah,
Okay.
Wally's stories were better because Barry didn't have that level of writing, and then Jeff Johns is Jeff Johns and tried to bring that back. But I mean, yeah, those stories from the '90s when you had like Savitar and that version of the Reverse Flash, like that's good stuff, man. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend Mark Waid's run on the Flash.
Do you watch Naruto, John?
Oh yeah,
Naruto.
Oh no,
even I know how to pronounce
Naruto?
that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Naruto. Yeah.
Out of the closet. Sorry.
The power level. Yeah. See, but it's the power scaling in Naruto and Dragon Ball and you want to go Ichigo. Ichigo would just Bleach is just ridiculous. Like because it's just one of those things where the power levels are just completely plot driven. You know, the only one that handles that even mildly well is One Piece. So anyway, yeah, we can move on.
Final piece of social media madness was actually brought to my attention by JD,
who is handling a dog emergency.
Who's handling a dog emergency. We got a weird message on our Facebook page from Alvin Benjamin that basically said, "Send nudes." The thing that was funny about
we haven't released our OnlyFans yet. Sorry.
So the thing that was funny about that is
I just walked back in the room. Are we getting naked? What did I miss?
You sent
good timing.
I agreed to nothing, sir.
You sent me the screenshot of the message.
I sent you a screenshot of nothing. What are we?
Send nudes in our inbox.
Oh yeah, I did do that. Some guy did request Dave to send him nudes.
But the funny thing is, I saw that message as I'm on the phone with my daughter, and I'm laughing to tell her about it. And she said, "Well, send him a picture of a bowl of noodles." Nudes. Apparently, that's something that women will do on the internet when guys ask for nudes. They'll send them a picture. So I sent him a picture of Elba macaroni and asked him if he liked that.
Did he respond?
No, not to that.
Because it would have been really funny if he sent back a picture of him holding a giant cucumber or something like that. That would have been epically hilarious, but he didn't. Man was a coward.
Or some nude stockings, just 2 pairs because he wanted nudes. So just know.
Can you believe we live
play
in a
around
world?
with that?
Can you believe we live in a world where grown men frequently will do this and send these things to women, send nudes?
Unfortunately.
But here's the crazy part. Someone has to say yes. It's like It's like these I
Yeah.
almost said Norwegian schemes. No, these Nigerian like fishing schemes where they're looking for money. Someone is giving this, or else it wouldn't happen so frequently.
99 times out of 100, they won't take the bait, but there's always that one that will.
So there's got to be like one person who's some random goes, "Send me your news," and they're like, "Okay," and they're doing it, right?
It's
how messed up is this planet?
Very.
How messed up are human beings?
Have you looked out the window lately?
Yeah.
Yes. It's depressing.
All right. Well, that does it for social media madness this week.
That does it all right.
Yeah.
So if you would like to be part of social media madness, and follow us and be part of, and we'll talk about you next week. And maybe we'll send you some nudes. Here's our good friend D Square to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you're following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the social media links for the show at the top of the page. While you're there, check out previous episodes of the podcast as well as other great content. And check the site often because we are posting great comic book reviews as well as other comic book and movie content every day. Make sure you are following us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Simply follow them at *_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pup Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for GW All-Stars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
I only say this because Don's our friend, but you ever notice he takes like very Shatner-esque pauses while delivering?
I was going to say, we should have him redo that and like have him down 3 Red Bulls before he does it.
Hey, it's done! What's your feet? Like, he always says that every time he's on the show. He's like, I got to redo that at some point. I never really paid enough attention to it until after he said that. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of pregnant pauses in there, my man. Very. William Shatner.
Check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube, where you're maybe watching us right now, and wherever podcasts are available. And one more reminder, if you're watching us right now, hit that subscribe button.
Smash that thing.
And on that note,
why do you make that sound dirty? Sorry.
Quick commercial break.
Because I can do that with
and
anything.
We'll be right back with the news.
I'll blow this town to smithereens. Time bombs. Try to get up there in time, Spider-Man.
Watch me cut my web, Goblin.
Watch yourself fall, Silk Slinger.
Gotta stop the bombs in time.
If I don't get you, webhead, my diagnostics will.
Holy Hannah.
And you're running out of fluid.
Is this more action than even Spider-Man could handle?
Spider-Man, a video game from Parker Brothers, the ones to beat.
Spider-Man would never say "Holy Hannah."
Yeah. You know, we could also mine YouTube for clips of like Electric Company Spider-Man or stuff like that.
I sent Dave a commercial. Did you play it last week? The one I sent you with the G.I. Joe?
I forgot to download it.
You should download that. That would be good for the show.
Download it for next week.
I found one. It's good.
Chris, sorry, Don. I muted you. I've heard it too many times.
I mentally muted it 1,000 times and never. Yeah. Again, same. I get it.
I kind of feel like the news this week might be geared towards JD and John's taste.
The finer things.
Is possible.
So last week we talked a lot about Flash's final season. I did watch the first episode. I haven't watched the second episode of the season yet. But JD, your friend, John Wesley Shipp, and Teddy Sears, who's not your friend, are returning for the final season. He played Zoom. Sears played
I'm
Zoom.
aware.
Oh, okay. And of course, John Wesley Shipp played Flash.
Both. He's played the original Barry Allen. He's played Jay Garrick, and he's played Henry Allen in the first season of
Yes,
Flash.
He was
he's
the
had
father.
3 different roles on that show.
Yes, he was very
talking about
talented
multiverse.
Yes,
who,
he is
who
the
maybe
multiverse.
one day,
No.
we'll do this podcast.
Will not happen. He doesn't do anyone's podcast. I don't know why. I've talked with him, and every time it comes up, he just refuses to even say no. Never. I don't know. I guess he doesn't like doing podcasts.
Well, he doesn't say no. See,
Doesn't say anything.
exactly.
He stops returning the messages.
What kind of bourbon does he want?
I have no idea. Yeah, he's just not interested. I don't know.
Bourbon and hookers.
He's a good guy,
Stop.
and I'm very happy. No comment. He's a very good guy, and I'm glad that this show has brought new attention to him as an actor and given him new legs as a career, which I will say started 14 years ago when he was in my movie because it makes me sound good. He actually did start working at that point. It's called Grotesque. It's available on YouTube. He actually did start working at that point. We were the first thing he did to get his feet back kind of into acting, which makes me very proud.
Yes. And now you're doing this.
And now I've fallen so far that I do superhero speak every Sunday night.
Oh yeah, you're definitely slumming
it. Slum.
I really love the Flash trailer. It's going to be the first comic book movie in 2023 to make $1 billion.
Hot take.
That is a really hot take.
Hold on a second. I think he's right. That trailer is absolutely fantastic.
It just might, considering how much Quantumania just made. You know.
Me too. I also my favorite thing about the fifth grade.
Yeah.
Was the Flash. We're the same age.
You guys were both in the fifth grade in 1990.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You're making us feel old.
I know you guys are ancient. I'm old. You're ancient. You are the great old ones. Your names are etched in the Necronomicon.
Not so great.
Speaking of Necronomicon, during breakfast today, I don't know how this came up, but I was showing Andy clips of Army of Darkness on my phone.
Oh, nice.
He thought, of course, what 6-year-old wasn't find it funny to see the skeleton slapping old Bruce Campbell around like a Stooges routine. Wife is not happy with me, by the way, for that. Not happy at all. Because the kid narked me out immediately when we walked in the door.
Speaking of the Flash and
you just slap her around.
You weren't here last week.
So
it's like, yeah.
JD, you didn't talk about the trailer with us.
No, I didn't actually.
But I just want to mention that was one of the trailers before Ant-Man, and my girlfriend.
Not for me. We did not get that trailer.
My girlfriend turned to me and went, "Michael Keaton's back again."
I like how she does not keep up at all with nerd news. It's good for you to have that in your life.
Yes,
just like a clean break. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have like a normie perspective on these kind of things. Class Ulysses, the fifth grade. I was watching Ed, and Eddie, codename Kids Next Door, Batman the Animated Series, and Justice League. So you're younger than us, Ulysses.
Kids Next Door was really was. I mean, that was quality writing back then. Even Ed, and Eddie had a really metaphysical bent to it at the end. It's just.
I was in college, so I was kind of not. I did watch Justice League though. So you know what we did have though, because I took the family to see that. We had all these great trailers. We had a Mario trailer, a Pixar movie trailer, and then they had a trailer for Stephen King's The Boogeyman, a movie about a boogeyman creature that comes out and tries to kidnap little kids, which is great to have when you're sitting next to your 6-year-old. Thank you, Disney.
That's a weird trailer to have on this.
Isn't
movie.
it? Isn't it? No.
I feel like they played the wrong trailer.
For my wife.
Real.
It might have. I mean, it stuck out. I was born in 1996. That's what year I started driving. God, I have to.
You were born 2 years after my daughter.
You were born 1996?
Classy was.
Classy Eddie.
Oh.
I was born in 1980.
Oh, okay. Even that is kind of like.
Classy is 2 years younger than my daughter. I feel old.
I have shirts older than that. Golly.
So then 2 questions for you, JD.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the Flash after seeing
I
that
am. That actually quelled a lot of my fears. I get why they're 1979, baby. Okay, probably got a few months on me. So Chris was born in 79. Shakedown 1979. Cool kids never had the time. For the Corrigan, Smashing Pumpkins. Wow. Yeah, I like the Pumpkins. I'm from Chicago. I think this movie looks great. Yeah. I kind of get why Warner's going, he's a megalomaniac, but the movie's really good.
But you're forgetting they don't know what good looks like.
They
So-
don't.
so-
but that
No,
looks
they don't. Not
that
yet.
looks pretty good. Did you guys
Because-
not like the trailer all that much?
No, it looks.
No, we're mad that we liked it.
Oh, okay.
I am kind of
we're,
like.
we're back to the Snyderverse stuff. We
Yeah.
got mad that we didn't hate it as much as we thought we would.
Except that we know, like with Snyder, we know that if we were watching a trailer with Snyder and we really liked it, we know that would have been the best part. And
Agreed.
it's all downhill from there.
But here's the thing: Andy Muschietti is a really good director. Like It is a great movie. It's a great movie. It's a great adaptation. Like, and he looks like he's going to add a Flashpoint completely different than the comic, which is what I would advise. I mean, it looks good.
It does. It does look good.
Yeah. Oh, also, aside from Classy making us old because they had a cell phone in middle school.
When I was in middle school, if you had a pager, you were kicked out and treated like you were a potential drug dealer and had to be sent to like the home, like juvie, basically.
Also,
Let alone a
are you
phone.
going to watch any of this season of The Flash since, your friend is going to be back on?
No. Why would I do that? I don't like it. Like, I mean, good job, John. Very proud of you. Happy you. I want you to succeed and make a lot of money. I don't like the CW shows. They're not for me. That's okay. I haven't seen it since season 3. I know Grant Gustin's a great Flash, but like you said, I mean, like, I got kind of bored with the entire Arrow universe a long time ago. It's just it's not what I want in superhero stuff. Actually, after this, I don't know what I want.
See, he could be a good Flash. I mean, if you took him out of the CW writing part,
I agree.
and he'd still play a great Flash.
Yeah, I think Candace Patton's a great Iris. Like, I think the show is well cast. I think that it's just not for me. For regular theater, Classy says that we should not read these. We should actually read these. It's a YouTube show. Depending on the theater, such as IMAX, Dolby, XD, you get a Flash trailer. But the regular theater, then you won't get it. Well, I'm cheap, so I went to the regular theater. So I got the Boogeyman.
Yeah,
which is a great thing to show a 6-year-old. CW equals teen melodrama.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, Chris. We talked about that last week. It is teen melodrama.
But it's not for us, so it's fine. Whatever.
All right. You know what we need? We need a third Hellboy reboot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh boy.
Mike Mignola likes making money.
Yes, so he has decided to do another Hellboy reboot. What is it? It's going to be based on The Crooked Man, which will be a smaller scale story than what we've gotten already with Hellboy, but
which is fine because you can also get too many the end of the universe thing. Like, why don't you just have him fight somebody?
Ulysses says, JD, watch anime, especially High School DxD and High School of the Dead. Every time I try to watch anime, I find that I just don't click with it. Like, I keep watching these like little documentaries on Gundam and excuse me, got a tickle in my throat. And I keep thinking, man, I really want to watch this. And I sit down to watch like Mobile Suit Gundam or Gundam Wing, and I'm one episode in, and I find myself playing on my phone. I just don't know. I don't know what it is. The barrier of entry for me is so. It's me. It's nothing.
You're starting on the wrong ones. And High School of the Dead is not one I would start you particularly with. Like,
you know me pretty well. What would you start me with?
I'd have to think.
One note. It's not much of a commitment.
You mean One Piece and
One Piece?
Don't
I'm
even
sorry.
don't
no. But you're making a joke. I'm like, okay, where's Dave going with this?
Sorry, One Piece. Yeah.
I mean, I think I would like this Gundam stuff. I hear about what it is about and the themes. I'm like, this is me. This is what I'm into. I watched one episode and I'm like,
Cowboy Bebop. That's what I would start.
All right, back on track.
Remember,
I would start you with Cowboy Bebop. I think because you're more interested in characterization.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This is the ADHD podcast. So back
For
on
real.
Track.
Or maybe that. No, sorry, Dave.
Is it too soon?
What about? Sorry.
Is it too soon for another Hellboy reboot?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I mean, why not a deboot? Why don't we just get Ron Perlman back? Just put makeup on.
He's pretty old.
Have you seen? We're about to watch Michael Keaton play Batman.
Yeah, true. And Michelle Pfeiffer was in in Quantumania.
Let me tell you about Michelle Pfeiffer.
Holy
Quantumania.
crap!
She's
64 years old.
Jeepers.
Wow. I know.
They did some of those close-ups. I'm like, I don't know if this is legit or if this is great special effects, but my lord, she's still got a fastball.
She is like
comment about Hellboy.
We're talking. Hey, we're raving about Michelle Pfeiffer. Thank you.
I mean, there's certain things you shouldn't interrupt.
Yes, she is still quite something.
So and Ron Perlman, Hellboy was mostly because of the makeup and everything.
Perlman. No,
it's his personality, right?
Yeah, that's what made that whole thing work.
I guess. I just but the thing is, if they were going to redo it.
So Chris says,
I don't know if anybody could do it besides.
How do you say his name?
Mignola.
Give him the money. Let him cash those checks. He's the richest. Oh, he's the nicest when you meet him. He doesn't.
He doesn't charge for signatures. Sketch the Hellboy for me for free. That is actually awesome. Here's an idea. Here's how we can have our cake and eat it too. Which, by the way, what's the point of having cake if you can't eat it? I will never understand that idiom.
Can it be ice cream cake, please?
Sure. Why don't we do animated Hellboy with Ron Perlman as the voice of Hellboy?
They did.
Why don't we do more?
Yes, exactly. Why don't we do more of that? Because those were good.
Right.
Those were very good. Very, very good.
Classy says just put Hellboy in World War II or Vietnam setting.
They could easily do that.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Hellboy animated shows were awesome.
I never saw that. Wholeheartedly say I never saw that. That was actually a thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
There were 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
Really? I love that you can just hear John typing away on the show.
It was Sword of Storm.
Sword of Storm video show. It's like
Sword of Storms in 2006 and Blood and Iron in 2007. They were great.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yes, do more of that.
Yeah, Chris even says yes, more animated Hellboy movies.
All right, we're all in agreement.
And they were dark. They were darker than the movie too. It was perfect.
We'll call Mike tomorrow and tell him.
Dark. The movies are.
I know. That's why I'm saying these were darker than the. So
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't think people want another reboot right now.
I like that David Harbour says every time I start feeling good about myself, I look at a picture of me as Hellboy and it brings me right back down to earth.
Oh,
it's true. That was from an interview he just gave. I laughed when I read that because that movie sucked ass.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't get through it.
That's terrible.
It is bad. It's so bad.
Sucked all the ass. Hell's ass, if you will.
I still don't know why they didn't give us 3, but
I don't know. Del Toro's busy doing Del Toro stuff now. He's just doing whatever the hell he wants. That guy's got like the best Hollywood career. Any weird ass monster movie he wants to make, people go, "Yeah, dude, go ahead, go do it. Here's several $1 million. Go make it look amazing." And he's like, "All right." And then he does a weird ass Pinocchio movie, and people are like, "Okay, it's Benicio del Toro, so whatever you want to do."
Pretty much.
I mean, it's the dream.
And
he won an Oscar for a movie about a woman who fucked the creature from the Black Lagoon. Think about that.
That's bad.
That happened.
Yeah. He won awards.
Yeah. About a chick who fucked the creature from the Black Lagoon. That was a thing. And everybody said, this is beautiful art.
All right. How do I pivot to a kid's movie?
You don't.
Just go with it.
So, John, this news should have made you happy. They want to do a live action version of How to Train Your Dragon.
You have no freaking. I don't know if it makes me happy. How do you improve on the original? The original movie, you cannot this. How to Train Your Dragon, the first movie, is one of my favorite movies of all time. Period. If it's not I can't even think of another movie that bumps it off my number one.
John, let me tell you something. I don't say this a lot, but you are 150% right. The first How to Train Your Dragon is amazing. It's one of Andy's favorite movies. We went and saw. I think I told you guys this. I took him to see it with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra playing the soundtrack. This summer.
John Powell. John Powell's music was perfect.
It was phenomenal. It is such a good movie, and it's one of those movies as a parent you take your kid to see, and you get a little tear in your eye, especially because it's the story of a kid and his dad. It got me so in the feels. I want to see it because I know my son will be happy. But John's right. I don't know how you I don't know how you redo it. I don't.
How to Train Your Dragon, the end was one of the most perfect plot. It was the way they had the plot. In the end, they didn't win because of a contrivance at all. They didn't win because of a Deus Ex Machina. They won because the main character figured out. He thought about it. He used tactics. He used everything he learned over the course of the movie, which nothing had been brought in just so that he could win at the end. It was all perfect.
Yeah.
And how do you beat the voice of Hiccup, Jay Baruchel, right?
No, he's great.
Or America Ferrera as Astrid, or Gerard Butler as Stoic. You cannot beat that cast.
You could bring Gerard Butler in to just do it, right? That would actually kind
Well,
of.
yeah, you could bring him in. I don't know if they'd bring Jay Baruchel in.
He's too old now, you know. I get it. I know the world we live in. I know Disney's had a ton of success doing this, and this How to Train Your Dragon franchise. It's a franchise. Has made DreamWorks a lot of money.
The Netflix shows are amazing, and they pick up the time between the movies too, and it's really good.
Chris, kids want these. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, Chris said enough with the live action remakes. Nobody wants these, right?
Well, and it's not
kids.
it's not that they want them. It's not that they want them. It's that kids will go and see it, which means that they will make money.
Right.
But nobody's asking for it, really.
I'm actually shocked that they didn't do Frozen already as a live action remake.
That's coming. Disney's got. I mean, like
that's not,
Disney can take
no
their
way.
time. Like they don't have to rush any of this stuff. And the only one that didn't work apparently was Pinocchio. You guys see them, and apparently it's ass cheeks.
I haven't seen it.
The Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio it's supposed to be
poor Tom Hanks.
Never say that. He's had a fine career. Like the man.
Oh yeah, no, he
has succeeded more than anyone deserves to.
Part of the reason why it sucks ass is because he said, "Oh, paycheck, I'll take that, sure."
Hey, sometimes you want a boat.
Yeah, but again, like if you're going to do it's the same. Frozen live action is the same problem as How to Train Your Dragon. There's no way you're gonna bring in Idina Menzel as Elsa. I don't think that's gonna work. Not on live.
Ashley says, "How about How to Train Your Dragon, but mix it in with Gundam robot?"
Okay. Now we're going to the fanfics. We're getting into fanfic here.
I would watch that. Maybe that would be the thing that finally got me into it. Would be Dragons versus the Gundam.
What you want is Ready Player One. That's what you want.
No, I don't want that because I saw that movie and it was also ass cheeks.
But here's something I will say to that point, which it's kind of silly, but at the same time, you take a movie like How to Train Your Dragon, which is definitely geared towards kids, make it live action. Now you've got dragons and Vikings, and it's kind of dark in some ways. Like
it wasn't just geared towards kids though. It was geared towards everybody.
All right, I'll call it a family film then.
Yeah, all right.
And it's like it's because it's animated, it helps give it a lighter tone. When you take that away, does it become too dark and heavy?
I don't know, because I tell you this, we saw the trailer for Dungeons and Dragons today.
Yeah.
And this is I feel like this is a lot of the stuff that John had said. This is what a Dungeons and Dragons movie should be over the years.
We hope so far. It's looking good.
This is I remember watching this trailer. I'm like, I've heard John talk about this for years on the show, and they seem to be hitting all the notes. And my kid doesn't know what the hell Dungeons and Dragons is. I don't even know if he could read the word dungeon on the screen. But he said, but he's 6, man. Dungeon is a big word. He said, "Dad, we got to go see this movie." So maybe it will work. Give me like Game of Thrones style with How to Train Your Dragon.
No.
That would be How to Train Your Little Lizard to like your sister.
Oh my God!
That's Game of Thrones, man. I thought we knew that.
Yeah,
we do, but still gross.
It was gross. That first episode of that pilot, everybody went, ew.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, it's one of these things where it's been introduced. Does not necessarily mean it's going to get made when they just throw an idea out there. So
I'm sorry. This is one that I hope it doesn't work. I hope it gets pushed to the side because I cannot see them.
Kind of like these Big Trouble in Little China remakes that I hear about every couple of years, but never seem to happen.
Yeah.
Well, even the one that they did of what was it, the Asian one, Disney,
Mulan.
was Mulan, right? That one they cut that story to pieces. You know,
Yeah.
that wasn't shot for shot, and the remake was horrible. Story wise, it was horrible. Not even counting live action.
Not all their stuff is easily translatable to live action.
Right.
It's not going to stop Disney from doing it. They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
but
all right. Well, I think that's it for the news. We will.
What about the nudes? Is it fit from this week's nudes?
Oh, for crying out freaking!
We'll have more of those after this commercial break.
Oh, boobies.
Attention, attention. Family thinks high toy prices are joke.
Holy one-liner, Batman.
Drop your punchline, Joker. Listen, folks, only at Zellers are you protected by
The law of Toyland. Nobody beats Zeller's prices on toys. Nobody. Color change Hot Wheels are just $1.77 each. And Micromaster Transformers are just $6.97 each.
You're protected at Zellers because the lowest price is the law.
Toys were cheap.
Yeah, they were.
We need new commercials.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
We have to work on that.
Coming live action coming from Amazon Prime. You know what? I think I did see something about that, but
with Nicolas Cage.
No,
I kind of want it with Nicolas Cage, to be honest with you.
No, you don't.
He's Spider-Man Noir. I think
in the
I
cartoon.
Do. I like Nicolas Cage. He's a madman.
Yes, he is. All right, we got a movie we all saw. I got a bad feeling going into this, so from things that you two have said already. So,
okay,
we have gone out and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It is let's see. It's starring, of course, Paul Rudd, Evangelina Lilly. Who else is in this?
Jonathan Majors.
Michelle
Pfeiffer. Michael Douglas.
Who's the girl? The who plays the daughter?
Don't know.
She was recast and
Caitlin Newton.
Yeah.
So, surprise cameo by Bill Murray.
Yes.
Who got eaten?
Yes, he did.
Hey, no spoilers yet.
That's not a spoiler. He there's no way he'd want to. Anybody who knows anything about his career, he would have want to get eaten on this. He doesn't want to come back for another one.
Chris says he's out. Didn't see Ant-Man 3. Read more comics. He's right. Peace out, Chris.
All right.
All right. So, couple things about the movie, real quick. Box office currently at this moment, domestic is 118 million. International is 239, so 357 million at this point for the opening weekend, which is really good.
There's a lot of buzz about that. They're very happy with it.
Yes, and of course, the Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter, which is obviously the critics' score, is 47%, while the audience score is 84%, which I think is par for the course anymore for a lot of these movies.
This is where we are with superhero movies, yeah.
Yeah. So, non-spoilers. Let's go around the room, and we'll start with John. What your initial reaction? No spoilers. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
It was good. Go see it. No, seriously, it's like it was. It sets up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
There is. Some of these are going to start having to come with like guidebooks with like a cast of characters listed in it, so you know who the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like the first time they introduced Thanos. It's like, oh, is that Darkseid? No, that's Thanos. Who the hell is Thanos? And everybody knows who Thanos is. But
that after credit scene in Avengers where he turns his head.
Oh, those are some of those are deep cuts.
Yeah, but it was like all the nerds in the theater like, oh my god, Thanos, and like everyone else is like, who is that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but aside from that, like the storyline was fairly well put together. There were a few issues I had with it, but otherwise, like I can overlook that. It was a fun movie, and it does set up Phase 5. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
JD.
It's all right. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. A lot of plot stuff, a lot of plot contrived stuff. And for an Ant-Man movie,
Some of it, yeah.
it wasn't very fun.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like it lacked the humor. Like people bitch about Marvel movies being all funny, but Ant-Man is supposed to be funny,
Yeah.
right?
Especially
And
Scott Lang.
especially the Scott, especially it's like it lacked from Luis Guzman and that kind of stuff. Like it lacked from the humanity of the other two Ant-Man movies. It was very high concept to me.
His the group couldn't come back, right? Like one of them is
I don't know what's going on with them, but they didn't like. There was no attempt to make something in that vein work, and that was disappointing to me. I think Jonathan Majors is absolutely awesome. He goes from understated in some scenes to completely chewing on the scenery in others. A very Pacino-like performance from him in some of these. Like I really like Jonathan Majors as an actor. Like he's clearly having fun. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer was great in this movie.
She's so under.
She's always been a really good actress. Like she's
exactly.
She's super pretty, but I think she's. I think we understate so often how talented she really is. Michael Douglas is fine. He's just hanging out and
Yeah, he
doing
doesn't
his
have much
thing.
to do in this movie.
No,
Yeah, but he's having fun with this. I mean,
yeah, he is. He's very clearly having fun with it. Evangeline Lilly is just kind of there, but I always feel like she has just been kind of there for all these movies. I don't particularly think that she's that great. I don't particularly think she adds much to these, like the characters necessary. I always
they're
find
not writing much for her.
They aren't, but I think that through the third time around, I think they kind of do that on purpose. Like she's not that great, and she's not bad. She's passable. But when Michelle Pfeiffer is there, and you're like, yeah, she's a lot better. I fell asleep once in the middle of the movie too. Like,
ooh,
and I don't usually do that. It was just a lot going on, and like, I don't know, like they just it was just like I felt like it was a lot. And I didn't hate it. I loved by the end of it, I was into it, and the post credit stuff I loved, but it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. But it definitely wasn't bad.
What was the runtime of this thing?
Felt long.
Well, I loved it. There was a lot in this movie. So the first, like, when you're dealing, okay, so here's my take on it, real quick, non-spoiler. When you're dealing with the quantum realm, you're dealing with something that is kind of high concept in itself.
It is, for sure.
And it's a very sci-fi concept. I kind of feel like when you read the comics of the 70s and whatnot that dealt with the quantum realm, if they feel like a throwback to the 50s sci-fi movies sometimes with some of the high concepts that are in it. And I feel like if they had the technology in the 50s to make a sci-fi movie like this is the kind of movie you would have gotten.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think a lot of those comics from the 70s were written by people who grew up on what you're talking about.
Yes.
So that's clearly like Starlin, those guys are clearly influenced by those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I mean, like that's what I wanted out of Quantum Realm movie. And I thought the stuff with Cassie and Scott was great. Like the father-daughter relationship in this movie works well, I thought. So, and Paul Rudd's Paul Rudd. He's
great.
He's charming. I love the voiceover stuff in the beginning and the end that ties the movie together. So, yeah, like I have no complaints other than a cat who knocked my mouse over.
Maybe he thought it was an actual mouse.
So yeah, so I think we're all saying we liked it. Some are a little more enthusiastic than others. So what I'm going to say is, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can stop watching now. Come back after you saw the movie because we're going to get into spoiler territory. if you don't care, or if you already seen it, well, here we go. So yeah,
Here we go.
So I'm gonna say that already said the voiceover stuff in the beginning of the movie. I thought that was a fun way to kind of not be heavy-handed with it, but give us a little bit of an update of like, what did Scott do? Where are we now with everyone?
Work.
Like, oh, he became an Avenger and he saved the world and saved the universe and
wrote a book about it.
Scott Lang would write a book.
Yeah, I know, right?
It gets perfect because he's kind of a scam artist. Like that's part of the heart of the character, right? So it felt like, this is what this guy would do. Like,
but not like a malicious scam
No,
artist.
no,
he's kind of like your best buddy scam artist.
Right, the guy looking at your buddy that's always looking to get rich quick. You know,
but he means well.
He does. He's a good guy. But he's always got an angle. So it was very Scott Lang to me.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, like that was great. And then he's in the bookstore with all the kids reading the book. Yeah, like that was great. And then of course, like daughter like father, his daughter's in jail. Which you like. I love the twist there because it's like, oh, is she now have a life of crime, following in her father's footsteps, kind of thing? And it's like, no, she was at a protest and used pin particles and shrunk a cop car, so she got arrested.
It was great.
Nice.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
good.
when she pulled it out of her backpack, it's like, I think I found this. It's like,
I'll be honest. The first act of the movie is probably my favorite. Like, I really like watching these people live in their world, and I think that's where the Ant-Man character is at its strongest. Right. I think it's the way he plays off real people, because the Ant-Man has always felt like these Ant-Man movies have always felt like the most grounded of the MCU movies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ant-Man being the most relatable. But 2 hours, 5 minutes, it actually felt longer.
Yeah, Classic gave us the runtime.
Scott Lang is the most relatable of the Marvel heroes, right? He's got real world problems, He just, and his motivations are always like, I want to take care of my daughter. Like, it's very, very good. I hated, like I said, we lost his buddies, his scheming buddies. We also lost Judy Greer and her husband, Cassie's the other side of her family. And I think that the way the first 2 films, I felt like everyone played so well off each other that I think taking that away changes the dynamic of what makes these movies work to us. And I get like the stuff that Dave loved about it is the stuff that kind of wore on me a little bit.
But the thing is, they couldn't bring in that side because how do you bring them into the quantum realm, right?
No, I agree. I think for me I don't think it played to the strengths of the character as well.
Mark from So Wizard says, the crazy thing is that there is actually an official Scott Lang book out now.
Hey man, some ghostwriter got paid well. Good for you, dude, whoever you are.
No, I agree though. That is like some of the best stuff, and it's tough. You can't have all of those guys back.
No,
especially because it doesn't make sense for them to go into the quantum realm. I mean, you could get some good comic fodder out of it, but they're not going to be much help.
I wish we got one Louis Guzman like wrap up, right? Or like, this is where we've been. Like my friend told this one, like that's one of they could have done that.
They could have had him do a Taika Waititi, right? For Thor, Love and Thunder.
Could have been
him,
right?
That's
like I think that's why they use Scott though to do that.
Yeah. It is, and it's fine, but I think it would have been. I just feel like the heart of this movie wasn't what the heart of. I don't think it played into what Rudd does well either, and that's just be like this everyman that's super likable. Like he was really more into action hero role, and I don't think that's the strength of Paul Rudd as an actor or the Ant-Man character.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's fine.
But it was nice to see him as a hero.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
As an experienced hero at this point, right? Yeah. Like he's not a fool at this point. He knows what he's doing. That's the thing too. You don't get a lot of time to breathe with that stuff. Like they go back to they're having dinner at the house and they mention that they've been doing experiments and then boom, we're sucked into the quantum realm. Like really fast.
Yeah, they didn't waste time. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I got to ask. Did you guys watch the MODOK show with Patton Oswalt?
No,
I saw
but
2
I'm
episodes
familiar
and I
with it.
would never watch it again.
Was it that bad?
I did
I've
not.
heard it's bad.
Yeah.
What did you think about the MODOK reveal for this movie?
I thought it was clever.
John?
I thought it was clever, but it was great up until he, opened the mask. And then it's like, oh no.
I thought it
no,
looked
no,
like
no, no.
I thought it
But
looked like shit.
isn't that
Yeah.
kind of what MODOK looks like in the comics? Come on, let's be honest. He's a giant face.
MODOK
with little
was a
hands and little
cybernetic
feet.
organism in the comics, not some guy's head that was shrunk to with like baby arms. Like
It didn't work for me.
yeah.
And maybe because I don't think Darren Cross was that great a villain, right? He's very much I like the attempt to rehabilitate him overall. I thought the effort was good, but I find that MODOK should be like zanier, right? And I felt like he was too grounded. Like in a movie where the quantum realm and everything is crazy, like the craziest, like MODOK being the craziest thing, didn't work. I thought it should have still been Patton Oswalt. And you could have given him something different to do, but I think that is what the character should be.
It should have been more menacing too. Like he's a cybernetic organism. He should have been menacing it. This guy, like as soon as the mask went up, it's like hi.
It was. I thought it was dumb. I thought the whole thing with MODOK's not a great character, I don't think, but I mean, it just didn't work.
He is.
For me.
He's a horrible character, and I thought this was a great way to like bring him in and like then be.
Yeah, I wish he was an original horrible character, not like.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I get it. It makes sense. I'm not gonna argue. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I just didn't
Like you're never gonna get MODOK as a main villain on anything. You're not.
Nor do I
gonna
want
get
him to be. Nor do I want him to be. I think his use was fine. I thought making him Darren Cross was dumb, and I thought the design was dumber, to be quite frank.
I think they could have used this as an opportunity to make the character work. Like that's not unheard of when they do these movies, right? Take something that didn't work before and make it work. But the direction they went in did not work.
MODOK reminds me of George Lopez's character from Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Absolutely,
100%.
And
it's funny. Karen's sons went with us to the movie, and that's her oldest son. That's what he said. Like he looks like the whatever the character's name was from that show, and it's like.
So there's a lot of Robert Rodriguez, Spy Kids, Shark Boy, Lava Girl influence all over this movie, be it intentional or not. Like there's a lot of that, like shockingly a lot of it. Weirdly.
Agreed.
Made me want to see Robert Rodriguez make a Marvel movie, to be quite honest with you. I don't think he ever would, but it would be fun.
So, I mean, yeah, and I can understand why people don't like that character and the way he looked, but I was fine. I don't care about MODOK, so like make him a joke. It's fine, you know.
I'm okay with him being a joke, but I wish the joke was funny. And if it was Patton Oswalt, I would have laughed. You know, instead it was the guy who played Yellow Jacket, whose name I can't remember, who's not like funny. You know, it was just like
they made him kind of pathetic, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like but if you're gonna go with that route, it would have been better if you had a comedian playing him, like a Patton Oswalt,
or make him completely menacing. Make him
commit one way,
like evil, right?
Commit one way or the other.
Is the actor's name, by the way.
Stoll. There you go. I just don't think it worked. I don't. And people get on Marvel visual effects lately, and I was looking, I'm like, I don't think these visual effects look bad at all. Because some of the reviews like, oh, these special effects are terrible. I didn't think that at all. I thought the special effects looked
the only
great.
thing I could say
except for MODOK
was MODOK, but he was made to look bad on purpose. Like that's the thing.
But it wasn't silly enough to laugh at.
That's the other thing, right? When he has the mask down, he's this menacing looking thing, and then when he takes the mask off, it's this goofy face of Darren Cross. Like,
but it's like
right, and his
joke
personality change. Yeah,
but the joke doesn't quite work because it doesn't look. Right. It doesn't look bad for the sake of bad. It just looks bad, right?
Right.
There's a difference between like it's Evil Dead, right? Like I just showed you Andy a bunch of Evil Dead stuff. right? Like Robert's, like Sam Raimi knew what he was doing about halfway through the first Evil Dead movie and steers into it. By Evil Dead 2, he's clearly aware of what he is.
Yeah.
Right. And it just seems like that wasn't what this was trying to be. Like they were trying to make Darren Cross look pathetic instead of like doing something with MODOK that would have been dumb but fun, right? And I guess that's my overall issue with this movie. I didn't have enough fun with it. You know?
Yeah, it's like you said before. Go hard, either all one way or all the other. Don't try to make him menacing and then have the cover lift up and have him go.
But then they wanted to be sympathetic at the end, right?
Right,
and that didn't land for me either. I'm like,
you could have made him menacing, and you could have also made him a slave, and that would have made they could
better.
There are ways they could have played that, written him so that you could still feel sympathy for him, even though you're scared for anybody that's in a room with him, right?
They made him the classic 80s villain sidekick.
Without
cartoons that were
without a lot of personality. Like that's the thing too, is there's no huge personality from, again, Corey Stoll is not like a character actor.
Yeah.
Right? He's just kind of an actor. Like he's fine, he's good, but his particular skill set doesn't necessarily lend to that type of a character.
Okay. All right. Well,
so there's MODOK. We put that.
There's
one
MODOK. We beat MODOK with a stick. But okay, so I will get into
actually, if they beat him with the stick, that would have been funny. But go ahead.
Let's get okay. So they get separated.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask you guys this because this is one of the aspects that bothered Karen about the movie, and like, I understand they did it to help with the story, moving the way they move the plot forward, but the idea that Michelle Pfeiffer or Janet
Van Dyne,
Van Dyne never revealed anything that happened to her in the quantum realm. Even after they get sucked in, she's not saying anything to them, and they're in danger because Kang is ruling over this world now. Like, she's like, well, as soon as like a normal person, as soon as you got sucked in, would have been like, all right, I wasn't truth. Here's what's going on. Like she keeps them in the dark until they absolutely have to know.
I agree with you. I get her not telling the story when she came out because one, it didn't matter to the plot of that particular movie.
Yeah.
Two, when you go through a great trauma, you don't like to talk about it, right? Typically, that's pretty normal. But in this movie, her not sharing stuff until the plot needed her to tell stuff was very plot driven, you know, instead of character driven. Like, because they're in the ship that he's like the biomechanical ship, which was cool, very creative. They're like, tell us. And she's like, I will, not now. It's like,
right.
Why? You're just sitting there. Like you're on a drive. Like this is the perfect time. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, this is the perfect time for you to do this because right now we're doing nothing.
Now there's that. This is a very, I wouldn't say overused trope, but a very common trope.
Very common trope.
Where you try to drive the plot or the tension up by having one character know stuff, but the reason they won't tell anybody else is because they're trying to quote unquote protect them. And Jim Butcher worked his way through this in the first like 3 books of his Dresden Files, because he had people in the first 2 books that were like, I need to know this. And he's like, no, I can't tell you because, this is dangerous stuff. And of course, those people died, and the character grew over that and realized, I need to tell people they need to be able to make their own decisions with this information, or at least know enough to be able to protect themselves.
Right.
It's a very childish way of looking at it to say, I can't tell you this. I'm trying to protect you. You shouldn't know this, when it's something that could kill that person. So, or it's a very naive position anyway. So, and it's used to drive plot too much, I think, in a lot of these movies. Because, like you said, it's like, I can't tell you, or I'll tell you, but later. It's like,
but we're in danger now.
Right. Yeah. It's and
especially a danger at the level of Kang.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's not. We're not dealing with a regular run of the mill thug. We're dealing with someone who can manipulate time and space, and is very powerful. Like, yeah, no, we need to know.
Right. And the other reason that writers will use this is because they want to try to avoid a full-on exposition dump for like 5 minutes.
But we always get them anyway.
Right. Yeah, I know. Right.
And that's the thing, is you just delay the exposition dump because and again, that's the conceit of a story like this, but something that happened in the past, right? It's unknown, or it's an unknown knowledge to the reader/viewer. So the only way you get that is via the exposition dump or the flashback.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes an exposition dump is necessary.
Sometimes it is, and it can be. The wife just put the dog back in the room here. She just texted me. The dog is not ready for bed. He's going back with you. I'm like, okay, as long as he stops climbing in my closet, we'll be fine. An exposition dump can be done fine. And when they got to it, it was fine. It was nothing wrong with it. But it was like, why did we, it kind of T-bones the story because of where they put it in there. Yeah. Had it been in there earlier, it would have been fine. It just, I don't know. And then the King got beat real easy. Like I felt like this is supposed to be the next big bat. Now again, they addressed it in the post credit, which I was happy with. But during the movie, I'm like, we're dealing with our new Thanos pretty quick, huh?
Oh, I didn't think that was the end of him.
Who said he's beat?
No, he didn't. No, I thought like watching the movie, I'm like, oh, he's getting beat. But then like the post credit really fixed that. Really like made me feel like, oh, okay, we got something here.
Well, no, but even that version of Kang wasn't beat.
He was sucked into the thing. We don't. Even Scott goes, I don't know if he's actually beat or not.
Right.
So we don't know if this Kang is defeated. Well, I don't know. He got beat by a bunch of ants. Granted, it's Ant-Man, but it was like, I don't know.
But he didn't get beat by the ants, right? They didn't kill him.
No, he got punched and sucked into a machine. I don't know. It was just very like, I don't know. Like I said, like there's something about this whole act. The second half of Act 2 and Act 3 really didn't like work for me at all. And like, I just didn't. Maybe Peyton Reed is not the director to make these type of things work, right? And I didn't like it. I didn't like how. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. Like I just like, okay, we're just punching. Like it felt beneath the character who can manipulate space and time. Granted, his stuff is broken conveniently. Right. Like it's all a lot of it is just plot conveniences.
No,
I get it, but it's like
speaking of plot conveniences, this is something that I have an issue with.
What's that?
I let it slide for the movie, but so you're dealing with Kang, who's supposed to be, for lack of a better explanation, the smartest man in the multiverse, in the Marvel multiverse, because he figured out how to jump through time and dimensions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And using the stuff around him, he's able to figure out how to get his quantum drive or whatever they call it working in the movie. But then Janet stops him by just making it grow. Right?
Well, not grow. She put a bunch of shrink and grow things on it. Like she basically trapped it in some kind of quantum lock
loop. It's like a loop. Kind of.
Yeah.
Where it's like constantly growing and yeah, I got that. It was weird. It's like the physics are wonky, but I can accept wonky physics in fiction.
It was a timey-wimey thing. That's
right.
Very much. Very
right.
timey-wimey.
It's a funky physics thing. However,
I want a t-shirt. We should have superhero speak funky physics thing shirts.
It is the typical Marvel MacGuffin is the Pym particles. He can't figure out how to make Pym particles, so he's stuck there until Janet mysteriously gets sucked back into the quantum realm.
The thing is, like,
what have you been looking for?
I mean, I can understand. Like, yeah, he may be smart, but like he could probably make a Tony Stark suit. That wouldn't be a problem. But Pym particles is a whole nother thing. That probably required a couple of like intellectual leaps of
I don't know. I feel
knowledge.
Someone who can move through time and space understands how time works better than anyone else.
Well, if he had
can
his
figure out how to
time
make
machine,
Pym particles.
if he had his time machine, he'd just take a Post-it, throw it on the machine, say find Pym particles, and then 5 seconds later, he'd find his
because he
future
also
self
says,
would find it.
He also says that he's
also
dealt
can.
with the Avengers in multiple timelines over and over again. So
Yeah.
he already knew about Pym particles. You would,
But
think
he had
would have figured-
31st century technology. He didn't care. He
All right,
didn't
let's
bother with it.
Let's be real. He also couldn't fix his time machine until Janet Van Dyne helped him. So he is essentially the professor from Gilligan's Island. He cannot fix the hole in the boat.
Well, if he had some coconuts, I mean,
and it's a MacGuffin. It's a plot contrivance to make the movie work, and I get that, and I let it slide. But it is like the one little thing that like bugged me. It's like, wait, why can't he figure this out?
Well, maybe he was just using her knowledge of the quantum realm to be able to figure out what was there that he could use to fix it, right?
It's possible.
Yeah. It wasn't like he landed in a lab.
No, that's
Lassie
true.
says they
But
can't wait
still
for
fixed
the.
the Ryan George pitch meeting from Ryan George for this movie.
Oh, I love pitch meetings.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's nitpicking. That I didn't have a
That's
problem
what I'm saying.
with that.
Like it is. That's why I let it go, because it is nitpicking. It is the only like major
Okay.
issue I saw in the movie. Like,
Okay, my most major issue was with the ants. It's like the only reason that they had any chance was because this is what I was talking about before with like How to Train Your Dragon or something. It's like a lot of writers rely, and this happens in books too, and just about in any medium. A lot of writers will be like, okay, I have this problem and I need to solve it. So in the beginning of the show, I will introduce the thing that I will use later to solve it. They don't there's no Chekhov's gun from a couple of episodes ago or like in very long book series. They don't take stuff that they've had access to before and use that. They have to always introduce something new, some new MacGuffin. So like in this case, it was like, oh, we know he's always had ants, but now he's got ants that are smart and can build technology. And when they got sucked into the quantum realm, they just of all of them that got sucked in, just the ants suddenly got somehow sucked into a part of the quantum realm that went faster. It's like contrivance or after
that is
contrivance.
something they've established in the quantum realm. Is different areas the time moves differently.
Right, but only the ants got sucked into that part.
Maybe because they
I
were
don't know.
already smaller.
It's Ant-Man, so I mean, like we kind of had to have the ants involved, like somehow.
They could have.
I get where you're coming from.
They could have had Janet. They could have had like, we need something to beat this guy, but we don't know what. And it could have been, oh well, I've got these ants and they're learning technology, and Janet could be like, oh, throw them over here where time goes faster.
Yeah, but they weren't together, so
yeah,
those two were.
No, they were split up. Like she goes off with Kang.
Well, in the middle, but like it's just it could have. There could have been a better way to write that instead of it just so happened because the problem I always have with plot lines is like it relies on too many too many contrivances in order to make it work. Too many coincidences.
Yeah, I mean, let's get real. If you
even then, that these hyper advanced ants couldn't even finish the job, and Kang was still alive. I mean, come on.
Let's be honest. If you want to nitpick, right? You're in the quantum realm. You're in the microscopic universe that lives between atoms.
The microverse.
The microverse.
Yeah. Micronauts.
How does Scott shrink down even more while he's...
I wondered that too. I'm like, oh, he can still shrink. There's more. I guess there's always places, it didn't. He's Ant-Man.
So is there a microverse?
Sure, why not?
Could he jump into another quantum realm within the quantum realm?
And why was everybody pretty much the same size? Like, if you're talking like if this is only just one level of
the buildings could move. Your buildings are alive. Yours are dead, which is actually probably my favorite line of the whole movie.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was good.
My favorite line in the whole movie is, "I have holes."
Oh God.
The whole story.
I was cheesy
I didn't
more
know
than
he could do that.
It's funny. You have 7.
You know?
He's 7 holes, and he stops. Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's funny. That was
Mm.
humorous. Yeah, I get that stuff bothers me a lot less than the like interpersonal character stuff. That's for me where it kind of lost me a little bit.
Okay, one of the things I loved in this movie, and it's a high concept thing, was when he was in the drive, and it was the possible, the Schrodinger's explanation of it, like the Schrodinger's cat. All the possibilities begin existing at once. That's why
Mhm.
there's multiple Scott Langs and then multiple Janets, because it's like,
But only one Baskin Robbins.
For the humor. Do you know what I kept thinking watching that? Can you imagine if Sam Raimi did this sequence?
Oh my God.
It would have been far more imaginative and scary, right?
Yeah.
Like again, I think this movie kind of collapses on the fact that Peyton Reed is just not that. He stretched himself. He really did stretch himself with this one, but he's just not that kind of guy.
And then I love, like, they all start working together because they all have the same goal.
Cassie.
At the end. Save his daughter. And it's
Which
like,
makes sense. That makes
100%.
sense.
Yeah,
that
worked.
makes
I thought it was
sense,
good
and
stuff.
it works. Yeah, like I really like that part.
It was good. I like that. It was a good little scene. It was very Alice in Wonderland. It was very much had that type of vibe to it.
Yeah.
The trippiness. Like I said, if it was I think it was in the hands of a more skilled, more visually visually in tune director, it would have been better.
True.
And spookier, because again, like I didn't get the sense of like fear or dread in that.
And this could have gone spooky too. This could have gone seriously spooky.
It should have gone spookier. And I think that's again one of my issues, because there's not enough heart. So I think it should have been, because again, they're in a foreign universe really, and none of them are freaking out. Again, they're Avengers, but none of them are kind of like freaking out about like what is going on. What is this? I just drank a dude, and I can hear it.
Yeah, just drank a dude. Yeah,
which was funny, but I mean, like I didn't feel character-wise. I didn't feel like they were stressed enough about the situation.
So
yeah, once he drank the dude, he should have thrown up.
Speaking of that, when Janet brings Hope
drink the ooze.
Yeah.
Brings Hank to the bar, and they drink the ooze there, and they can hear everyone. The first thing that Hank Pym does is ask for an alcoholic drink.
He's a baby boomer. That's what they do.
To me, that felt weird and out of place.
No, I actually felt like
that was perfectly.
I thought that was the most human part of the whole movie, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Like I really feel like that is what that guy would do in that scene. It's also Hank Pym.
Most people would have done that in that scene.
A lot of people like, I need a drink.
Well, and that goes along with having to deal with all this new stuff. Like, what was the first thing you want to do? I need a drink.
Yeah, I gotta calm my nerves. Yeah, that I really feel like that was one of the most human, like one of the most human moments in the entire movie. I really did.
Okay. It's okay. I just I didn't say anything or think anything when I saw it, but then I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, but I wouldn't have done that. That wouldn't have been my first thing. Like,
it wasn't Janet's or Cassie's either, but it was Hank's.
And because he didn't even say he needed a drink, he's like,
"What
I
can
want
I
to get
give?
drunk."
He's drunk. Well, again, I think I find his because again, this dude knows when he's over his head, right?
Yeah,
that's like a rational way to. If I get drunk, then I can at least relax,
deal with it
a little bit. Or I'm miserable right now, so I might as well be drunk. I like the brunch. Like, oh yeah, like we can get you nice and fucked up.
I need some alcoholic perspective on this crazy shit that's going on.
And then Bill Murray showed up.
And there is no amount of crazy alcoholic perspective that you can use to deal with Bill Murray these days.
It was weird, right?
It was weird.
It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be.
He can still play menacing though.
He did.
Right?
The menacing was good. I thought his menacing was really good, but he wasn't funny. Like I didn't think he was funny.
But maybe that's not what he
funny
needed.
Didn't come off as funny.
He didn't need to be funny though. But you can be menacing.
Earlier in the when he had to be menacing, he was menacing. But when he's trying to put them at ease, he should have been Bill Murray. Like I was waiting for him. Like charming.
Yeah.
Like he never comes off charming, right? I never get that classic Bill Murray vibe off of that character. But when he went menacing, it worked great. Like that was really good. But the earlier part of the scene, I really felt like it didn't work. Although the thought of Michelle Pfeiffer hooking up with Bill Murray was just like not
Ew.
coalescing with my brain. But
Yeah.
Well, yes, but when you only run
I
into
get
one
it.
other humanoid,
Oh yeah, no, I get it. The hole,
They both kind
holes, right?
holes. Yeah, 7 holes.
Big theme of the movie.
they both kind of admitted to each other that we both have needs. Like,
Yeah.
well, why didn't you stay with them? Because it weren't you, honey. That
That's
was
another. I actually think Michael Douglas kind of steals this movie.
Is that
a little bit.
is that a weird brush over of that too? Like,
No,
in the
get
middle
they were
of almost
separated for
dying.
30
Not
years.
really.
No. It's a great relationship thing, right? Because it's two people that reconnected after 30 years. Of course, there were others,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like this guy. And she's like, "Well, what did you?" He's like, "Well, I had one too, but she wasn't you." And I was like, "That's great!" Like,
Yeah.
because that's like my favorite relationship in the Marvel universe right now is Hank and Janet, right? They like those two work, and I liked that. Again, like my favorite stuff in the movie is like the few human stuff. And again, I thought the Hope and Scott stuff. I thought at the end, I thought it was a little schmaltzy. I don't know why it didn't work as well for me.
All right. Do we do when it comes to Michelle Pfeiffer, we have to address
Her
an elephant
hotness
in the room. Okay,
in
here's
my
the thing.
pants.
Here's the
Okay,
thing.
I'm
with
not going to
that,
be as
Lassie
crude
boy.
to that, but she is a
Oh, I'm
very
crude.
beautiful woman at 64.
Obviously,
We've talked
when
about
they
this
do the scenes
before.
With,
We'll do it
obviously, when they
again.
do the scenes with her and Kang, and the flashback scenes, they de-aged her, right?
Didn't notice, possibly.
I think they de-aged her a little bit through the whole movie.
Actually, not really. No, if you
No,
if you
because
look
she
at pictures of
looked
her now,
older. She looked older in the last movie.
I
when
think they
find
make her
and save her.
I think they make her look older in these movies than she actually looks in real life, quite frankly. Because if you see photos of Michelle Pfeiffer just out being Michelle Pfeiffer, she looks younger in
she
real
looks
life.
like she's in her 40s right now at the
She
best.
does.
She
does.
I mean,
looks better than
I think-
Evangeline
and-
Lilly in
and
this
it-
movie.
Right, and this goes towards what we've
Which
talked
is
about
sad.
before. Wait. This is what we talked about before. Like, to somebody like me who's been around for a very long time, when I was young and a woman was 50 or 60, there were certain lines that were there. Like, they looked 50. Well, to me, my idea of 50 and 60 is like dowager, you're getting on. Like these days, though, we've talked about this before, where they just don't look old anymore until they're like,
I wouldn't say she didn't look old. I will say she's growing old remarkably gracefully. She looks great, not just at her age, but at any age. But she does not look like Michelle Pfeiffer at 40. Michelle
Right,
Pfeiffer
but
at 40 looked 25, quite frankly.
Right.
Like she just has
But
phenomenal genetics.
But some of these actresses that we're seeing on these shows are like, they do not age like normal human beings.
If you look around, people like I look at photos from like the 80s and they're like, well, this guy was 35, and you're like, he looks like a mountain troll. Like people are doing a better job taking care of themselves.
Right,
today.
it's a mixture.
Right,
It's a mixture of a lot of things.
And we had a lot of preservatives.
I also think makeup and camera effects are a lot better today.
100%, 100%.
Than they were back
Maybe not
then.
makeup. Maybe not makeup. I think we've actually if you listen to some of these similar people, makeup's actually not as good as it was because it was more relied upon.
Yeah.
Like now, there's more you can get away with digitally. So some of the makeup skills aren't quite what they were 30.
Well, you think, but like with 4K,
it's different.
With them shooting everything in 4K these days, it's
Yeah.
like you better But you know what they're doing? They're fixing everything in post with CGI. Like even
Correct.
small things now. They're not relying on normal makeup anymore.
Correct. That's why I'm saying the makeup skills aren't what they used to be because it's the business is different, which is not to be that's not a surprise.
Which is a
Michelle
shame,
Pfeiffer.
actually.
Yeah, I agree. Lost art. That's going to become a lost art soon.
I just remember saying that to
That's
Karen
great.
on the way home. Like, I just feel like maybe they used some effects on her a little bit throughout the movie. Maybe
I
I'm
don't think
wrong.
so. I think this is what she looks like right now.
I don't know.
Have you seen her?
Out of extensive, searching, I'd say she looks like she does,
She looks
in the movie. Yeah, for somebody who's 64, again, she
Michael Douglas, for all his problems, looks pretty good too.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
beating cancer and stuff like that. He looks really good. And Paul Rudd is, Dorian Gray.
Yep. But again, like Michelle Pfeiffer, we're talking about her looks.
Is that too highbrow for this crowd?
Yeah, I know. We're talking about Michelle
Dorian
Pfeiffer's
Gray
looks,
has
but
the
she
painting, right? He's the one that ages backwards.
No, he doesn't age at all.
It doesn't. Right.
That's Benjamin Button. Benjamin.
Oh,
Button
that's right.
Backwards. Yes.
Right.
Sorry.
So go ahead. John.
Hi.
We're talking about her looks, but the more important thing is she's like, we were talking about Evangeline Lilly not really,
She's not a very good actress.
right.
Not bad.
She had about as many lines as Michelle Pfeiffer, but Michelle Pfeiffer took those lines and did things with them.
I disagree. I think Michelle Pfeiffer has a lot more to do in this movie specifically than
a little bit more to do, but what she was given, it's still not like great, a whole bunch, but she was able to take those lines and do a lot with
this
them.
movie.
Like, she's asked to do a lot more, like Michelle Pfeiffer is kind of a crux of this movie. Like this is more her, like the last movie, like she doesn't do a whole lot. This movie, she drives a lot of the plot.
Yeah.
Right.
But she's Michelle
again,
Pfeiffer. You steer into your strengths, right?
Right. But she's still like, what she did have to do, she made the most of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a talent. I'm still blown away by that one. I'm still blown away by that one move. Was it that one video of her when she was doing Catwoman for the Batman movie, and she learned how to make actually use a whip.
Yeah.
And just behind the scenes was just whipping the heads off of some of the mannequins and everybody
she nailed
cheering.
it in one take.
She nailed it in one take. Yeah, it's just like, she's just got talent coming out of her ears. She does.
She's remarkably talented. Like, I was actually reading up about her in preparation for this, and like she was talking about how she got by early in her career just on her looks by her own admission, and how she really took acting seriously. But by the time she's like in her 30s, she is one of the most accomplished actresses in Hollywood. It's just at talent level. Like she's real parts to work with, and it helps that she's gorgeous, but she's so damn good in everything.
Yeah, it's like people will say, "Oh, she got by her looks," but when you get her, but when you get her on film, it's like you cannot deny her talent.
No, what's she been bad in? Name a movie she's been bad in. Like she's not even bad in Grease 2, and that thing's awful.
Yeah, it's true. True. Wasn't she in a movie like what was it back in the day when like every other movie was like a teacher with a bad batch of students?
Sir, you were discussing a movie called Dangerous Minds that when I was in high school changed lives.
She was good.
Yes. Yeah. In 1995, that movie like spoke cross-culturally, and that Coolio video with her in it was like,
oh yeah,
that was big.
That's right, Coolio, the Coolio movie with her in it. Oh, I forgot
Gangster's
about that.
Paradise, my friend.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's get out of the Gangster's Paradise.
Coolio did. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Ooh, is that a joke? I'm just being honest.
No, yeah.
I don't know. Felt like
man's gone. No one's doing a
he
bit
is.
there.
Passed away very recently. Yeah.
Very recently. Sad. Yeah. He was young.
He was good too.
He was very good. He was very good in Dangerous Minds.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of those movies, like The Substitute or Class of 1984 and stuff like that. But that's actually a pretty good one. Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That definitely was a trope.
So, yeah, I mean, where was my
I have
mind
no
going?
idea.
Oh, no idea. So
no freaking clue.
So, they did a lot to build. I think I can't think of her name again. Cassie's character up in this movie too. I think
true.
They're trying to do her as a hero. So here's the thing with that.
Next Avengers, they want
next Avengers, young Avengers, right? Like
Stature.
What?
Stature. That's the name.
Stature is her character. Like
that's okay.
But apparently there was something that came out. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it from a couple different people that Kevin Feige said they have no plans for Young Avengers.
Right. Okay.
I was about to say,
Wink,
they've
wink, nudge,
introduced
nudge.
like the entire team. Like, obviously, they have plans for it. But
All we're missing is Hulkling at this point.
right.
And by the way, Iron Lad was a young Avenger. Do you know who Iron Lad is?
Kang.
Yeah.
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 We're all there.
We're not going to get the
we
convoluted history of Kang in the MCU, though.
We should talk about.
Aren't we not going to get the convoluted history of Kang in the
Yeah, we're
MCU
gonna
based on that post-credit sequence?
We're already getting. Yeah, we should talk about the post-credit sequence.
Let's talk about the post-credit sequence. We've raved
We
about
should talk
how hot
about
Michelle
that. Yeah.
Pfeiffer is.
It's 10:15 already. We should really.
Yeah.
Talk
All right.
about
So
that.
okay. All right. Yeah. So long story short, obviously they
story
defeat
longer.
Kang, like okay.
With
let's talk about the end real quick, though.
the Duex Antinas.
So
Ant
they
Machinas,
need his time drive working to open up a portal so they can get back home. They Janet figures it out, gets it open. They all jump through. Kang wasn't actually killed. He jumps out. He's fighting Scott at the end. They're in the big back and forth fight. You know, you think Scott's gonna they have you thinking, oh, Scott's gonna die. He's gonna sacrifice himself. Like, no, obviously not. But like, he's like, I don't need to win. I just need both. I just need you to us to both lose. You know, which then Janet jumps out of the portal, saves him. Hope. I'm sorry. Hope jumps out of the portal, saves him, and then they end up destroying his drive, and it shuts down. And you feel like, oh, they're setting up like one of the next things. They're trapped in the quantum realm, and they have to,
That's what you thought, yeah.
That's what you think. Nope, they push a couple buttons and get the portal back up and get right to them.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, that felt a little contrived at the end.
Did. Little. I thought we were gonna go with like a sad ending, and they were like, nope.
Not necessarily sad because they defeated
if Scott doesn't
Kang.
come home. If Scott doesn't come home, it's a sad ending. But I think it would have worked, to be honest with you. But it's not what they wanted, so whatever. But yeah, it was like, oh, that worked out very conveniently.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's like,
and this is what I'm talking about. They kind of dealt with it. It was kind of easy. I was a little disappointed, but I think we're still going somewhere with all this. So I'm willing to forgive and forget, based on the post.
So the first post-credit scene, we get the Council of Kangs.
Council
Is that what we're calling this? Yeah, like this giant stadium full of Kangs all yelling and screaming. They gathered them up because he was defeated. It wasn't one of them that killed him.
There are so many videos online of people going frame by frame trying to pick out all of the Kangs that ever appeared in the comics. And there's like, I think they're up to like 30 different Kangs that were actually specifically mentioned in comics.
The ones that count were Rama Tut and the younger Kang, Scarlet Centurion, and Immortus.
Are you sure the younger one wasn't Scarlet Centurion? I think he was Elder Kang or Future Kang.
I forget.
There was Iron Lad met a quote unquote Future Kang, which sent him back. That was Future Kang.
Future Kang for Iron Lad, because Iron Lad is young Kang. So it's not Kang before he becomes proper Kang. It's Kang. Scarlet Centurion. Oh God, this is why it's so confusing. So this is why this character is so confusing. It's the Scarlet Centurion is younger than Prime Kang.
Scarlet Centurion, right? But Scarlet Centurion was seen on the floor. He wasn't one of those three.
I was told that he was. What I read said that was the third Kang.
No,
yeah, I don't know.
That's not what because there's a picture of Scarlet Kang on the floor.
That's what Screen Rant told me. I'm sure we'll get a clarification of this in some time.
Oh, actually, Screen Rant, new Rockstars, like they're the ones that go frame by frame by this stuff, and new Rockstars. So
right. Is anyone still watching?
But yes, the other were the Immortus and Ramatet. Yeah,
let us know in the comments.
Right.
You know what's funny? Do you know what Kang's real name is?
Summers, right?
No.
Oh.
No, he's not a Summers. That would be he's a Nathaniel Richards.
He's a Richards, right?
Richards, not a Summers. Richards. I meant Richards.
So they have to bring in the Fantastic Four into this.
I would think at some point, unless they decide to ignore that, but it's a pretty big part of Kang's background. Well, Rama Tut specifically, because Rama Tut was a Fantastic Four villain.
Yes.
Right.
Well, but he's also
And
Kang.
and a lot of these guys were retro was it retrofitted into Kang's, like,
Correct.
Ramatut wasn't originally a Kang, neither was Immortus.
I'm not sure about that, John. I'm pretty sure Kang is Ramatut came first. Ramatut is the first version of him.
Right,
then
but I
he
don't
was-
think he was like originally a Kang, and they kind of made him a Kang later.
I'm gonna look that up. I think that's incorrect, but I'm gonna look.
While
that
you're
up.
looking that up,
Immortus definitely wasn't Kang initially, and then they
I
made
will
him
say
a Kang.
this. I will say this. The you think Kang is killed, but the whole thing is, we knew the next Avengers movie is going to be called the Kang Dynasty, so like they couldn't have killed. Like there had to be a way to bring him back, and obviously there was.
True. I mean, well, the
Spy
thing
Kids 3 over
again,
Ant-Man
it goes,
3,
it goes,
and don't
it goes.
mind the spoilers because I wait when the movie hits streaming.
Yeah. It goes back to that thing where I said, like, I forget who said it, but it's once you have a character that is a time traveler, they immediately become immortal because you can bring them back, you can kill them as many times as you want, and it won't matter because there's always a way to bring them back.
I think Karen made that same point. Like, yeah, once you introduce a time traveler, you can pull them out at any point in the timeline.
Yep.
Yeah, they're now immortal.
You can even kill them multiple times, and it doesn't matter because you're just the timeline.
Oh no, wait!
All you do
Did
is
we say
changing
that
the
last week?
timeline.
We were talking about Reverse
Right.
Flash.
Yep.
When Mortis is introduced, he's talked about as being Kang, a future version of Kang. First time.
Was he?
Yep, first time.
I thought, again, I'm the DC person, but I thought that they had what's the word? Not retro something.
Retconned.
Retcon. They had retconned a lot of these guys into becoming like the guy who was in the 1900s who created the town.
Incorrect. And all three of them actually appear within the same year. 63 to 64. They all do.
Really? Mm-hmm. Really? Okay. Huh.
So we got our Council of Kangs, and then we get our second post-credit scene. Did you stay around for the second post-credit scene, gentlemen?
I did.
Yeah, a lot of people left I'm really surprised. Like, it's getting
My
to the point
theater,
where
the theater I was in, turned the overhead lights on, and the guys were cleaning, and it's like, I know there's two. I looked it up. I know there are two scenes.
Yep.
You know, and then they brought the lights back down at the end of the credits, and I'm like,
about 3/4 of the people in my theater got up and left, and I'm like, well, okay,
Noobs.
I know who the hardcore people are now.
Yeah. At this point, how do you do that?
Yeah. So we got our setup for season 2 of Loki. It looks like we had our Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston Loki, and oh god, why can't I think of his character's name?
Victor Timely.
Yes, and we get the Victor Timely version of Kang.
Timely being an old name for Marvel Comics.
Right.
Yeah.
Timely Comics that use it.
So here's what's interesting.
Okay.
Continue, Dave. I'm sorry. I was going to say, one of the students of Victor Timely was one Phineas Horton, who invents the Human Torch.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, whose android body we see in the first Captain America movie.
Yes.
Are we finally going to do something with the original Human Torch?
That would be interesting.
Cool.
I don't know. I hope so. I like that character, Jim Hammond. He's really cool, really underplayed, and the Human Torch is cool. He's neat.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, it's a cool setup too for season 2, and I like that how Owen Wilson's like, I thought you said this guy was going to be menacing the way you talked about him, and you know,
he is.
He is.
Yep.
No.
So.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
no.
he
Yes,
is.
JD, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
He's trying to be classic. No. Bad dog. Sorry. Continue. No.
Wow.
So
that's
my question: is Kang going to just be everywhere?
Yeah, I think so.
Doggy Mania, is that what
Doggy Mania? No, I think Kang is going to be more present than Thanos was during Phase 2.
Yeah.
But he can be, because there's like part of Kang's charm is that there's lots of versions of him.
That you know, that whole it's I was going to say Morbius, Mephisto trope from for 4 is now going to be it's Kang. It's gonna be Kang. It's gonna be Kang.
Well, we know when we see Jonathan Majors showing up that it will be Kang.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, and then that's the whole thing. If it's infinite number of versions from across the multiverse, and he can, and we don't know what percent of them are pure evil. Like, you could just keep bringing them back forever.
Crisis of Infinite Kangs. What do you think, Astro? Thank you.
Yeah, I think so. This is an interesting. I can't wait for season 2 of Loki now. I want to see.
I tell you what, this got me more interested in season 2 of Loki than anything else.
Yeah, we thought at the end of the season 1 that we thought Kang was. I mean, they kind of made it look like Kang had taken over, but Owen Wilson is now listening to Loki again.
Something happened.
So what? Yeah, what happened? Right.
Something happened
to make Owen trust Loki.
Something happened. I guess we'll find out next season.
Now, here's the other thing: the Kang in this movie, the Conqueror, kept saying that something worse is coming. He knows how it's all going to end.
Because they banished him. The Council of Kangs banished this Kang to the quantum realm.
Because he was too powerful, I guess? Or
I don't know.
They just want to get rid of him?
They didn't call him Kang, but the Kang that was in season 1 of Loki.
The one, he who above all, what do they call him?
He who walks behind, or no?
No, that's from Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
He who walks behind is from... He who walks behind is actually from Dresden Files.
What the hell do they call him? Hold on.
Who is this? Who?
Wikipedia.
Kang from season 1 of Loki. Remember, they get to
He
that
who
point.
remains. He who
Who
remains.
remains.
That's who you're talking about, right?
Right. He turns around and goes...
Thank you, PBC. PBC said it too.
You mean, that's Randy.
Hi, Randy. Oh, yeah,
Hi,
sorry.
Randy.
I didn't see the picture.
He remains.
No. He said he didn't know what was going to happen after they crossed that threshold. He was like, now I have no... Like, he knew everything up until that point. Now he's like, now I don't know what's going to happen. And he, gets killed shortly after.
Right. Because then all the other universes and timelines started spouting Kangs all over the place.
Right. So...
Kanged it all up.
I find that interesting, too. Like, you can have one character who's going to sit there and say they know everything, and then you're going to have one that's going to be like, well, we're going to get to a point where I don't know anything. Yeah. I don't know. This is going to get very heavy, I think. Weird and heavy.
Weird.
Yeah.
I hope the writing is good, because it's going to be very hard for them to write a storyline where they can defeat somebody where there's an infinite number of variants of them around.
You can't.
Right.
There's
exactly.
no way to, like...
Well,
really
we know
beat
you
him.
can. We know you can, because He Who Remains did. So,
Or at least that's what he claimed. Who knows?
Right. So is the TVA involved? And also the guy, Timely, right? Why are they visiting Timely? Is that one variant of Kang, the one that kicks off all the rest of the Kangs? Did they follow the causal, chain down to that one guy, and that's why they're there right at that point?
I like this.
So,
anyone else get Riffer's song vibes from Kang? We saw the ending first.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know where they're going to go with this. You're right. I don't know how you... You're right. He did say that. He saw... He was the last one. He who remains. That's why he was called that. But
right.
But
well,
yet,
because
when
he was
died,
preventing
it
the rest.
Respawned everything, it seemed like.
Well, he died, lost, and that means that there was no one controlling all the other... the sacred timeline,
Right.
meaning that it spouted other timelines where Kang was able to, like, be born, right? So, and so on and so forth. So how do they get back to, like, the point where they control which timelines spawn a Kang? Or how do they get to... Right, so the writing on this could be really good or really bad, and
So
that's the only thing that worries me about Phase 5.
Here's... I'm about
How
to
do you
say,
how
here's
do you
the
stop
thing.
Kang?
Here's the thing, too, right?
Ants. Giant ants.
You talked about...
Yeah.
we've talked about this before in the show too, and this is, I think, where we can wrap the conversation up.
Mm.
The issue we have with this long-running history of Marvel movies now, right, and it's still going, is the raising of the stakes, right? Like, first they save, first they defeat people in World War II, and then, they stop a madman. Then they
Right.
save the Earth.
Yeah.
Well, now they got to save the universe. Oh, now they got to bring half of the universe back. Now they got to stop a madman who can destroy all of time.
And we're
where do you
right.
go after that?
Then you got to go smaller. Then
Yeah.
you got to go smaller.
But
then you got to go.
But more, you can be more interesting and smaller, right? This is the power scaling thing we were talking about initially. It's like, they could do something where like they have some. Doctor Doom would be perfect, right? Earthbound, pretty much, but a major menace.
Kingpin.
Well, Kingpin could definitely give them a run for their money. Even the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save the souls of the heroes. I like that, right? Randy.
And we know that Daredevil's coming back, and maybe Jessica Jones too. Definitely not Danny Rand. So.
Danny who?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Danny Rand.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot of places we can go from here, and I'm not 100% sure I know all of them.
Right.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, let's go around, wrap this up. Let's give a final score of 1 through 10. Capes or giant ants, whichever you prefer. And our final thoughts. John, you can go first.
I'll give it 7 ants. And, I'll keep the raid, handy. But, yeah, just, it's not the greatest writing, but that's my thing. It's a very entertaining movie. I think people obviously like it on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's a good start to the Phase 5. Like, it introduces a lot of stuff, and we'll see where it goes.
All right, JD.
I will also give it 7. Capes,
all right.
and like whatever. I mean, like, I like to think of this stuff as like school grades, and like giving it a C sounds wrong, but I mean, like, because it's not bad, but like, it's flawed, and I don't think it's as good as the other 2 Ant-Man movies. So I guess that's where my barometer goes with them. I'd like there's a lot of cool high concept stuff going on here, but for me, a lot of the character stuff lacked. And it wasn't all bad. Like, I love Michelle Pfeiffer. I thought they did really good job with her.
She did really good job with what they gave her.
Well, I think that I don't think they gave her that little. I think you're actually underselling all that she does in this movie. I really believe that I think she's the crux of this film. I also, same writer's also doing Kang Dynasty. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I wish there's more. My favorite moments in the movie are the human moments, and I think this movie lacked a lot of human moments. So hopefully that's something we can learn from.
Well, I am going to give it a better score than you guys. I'm going to give it 8 ants and half an uncle.
Bum.
Hot.
Basically, agreeing with the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I actually like this one better than the second one. But, again, I enjoyed it. I liked the father-daughter dynamic in it. I liked the action. It was a lot of action in this movie compared to the other Ant-Man movies. So, it kept my interest. I liked not the timey-wimey, but the like weird physics stuff with the possibilities or probabilities in the engine and all that stuff. So I liked it. I would definitely go see it again.
Does anybody realize that we've just turned the quantum realm into basically just another realm, like Shang-Chi or like some of these other places?
That's what they are. With the broccoli people, yes, that's exactly what they did. Because the broccoli people were native to oh god, what was Kunlun, right?
Yeah,
That's where all
Kunlun,
the
right.
that's where all the
Yeah.
asparagus and broccoli people came from. And they made an appearance in the quantum world. I don't really care all that much. 'Cause, I'll come to the canteen scene at some point.
You mean Young Avengers kill Kang, right, Marky Mark? That's from Randy.
They do or something. I forget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. I think we're all agreed.
Yeah,
All right.
go see it.
Let's wrap this one up. Let's go around. You got any recommendations, or did you learn something on the podcast this week? And JD, you can go.
Not a damn thing did I learn this week on this show. I learned that Dave's not doing a good job bringing new commercials on because I've seen that Zellers commercial too many times. We need to get new material.
All
new
right.
commercials. Now I'm going to make this my own personal quest to hunt these things down. I don't know why
Nice.
I don't know why I'm talking like that. Recommendations. I didn't do anything this week. I just coached wrestling, and I don't recommend that for anybody else because your stress level just goes through the roof. I'd recommend going to see Ant-Man, forming your own opinion.
All right. Before you go, John, Mark says, give me the Young Avengers movie ASAP, damn it.
Yeah, I would like to see that too.
That'd be
I don't
interesting.
think you were on in the beginning. There's a rumor that Kevin Feige said he has no plans to do the Young Avengers at this point.
Bullshit.
All right, John.
So I'm just about ready to wrap up my run through Patricia Briggs's Mercy Thompson series in books. So I'm going to recommend that right now because
Urban fantasy?
it's urban fantasy, and really good. She's an amazing writer, and it's been a fun ride. I've read maybe either a book and a half up to almost 3 books a week for, I don't know, like 14, 15 books. So I'm nearly caught up to what she's got out. And when I'm done with that, I'm working on Stephen King's next, because JD said
Fairy
it's so
Tale?
good. Yeah. Fairy Tale.
Yeah,
That's
I think you'll
next
like
on my
that.
list. And I'm going to read that in the book form, not on my Kindle, because I want to read a book.
I listened to the audio book, which I quite enjoy, but I definitely, when you finish it, I definitely want to talk about it on the show.
Okay.
We got a book recommendation a few weeks ago, and I forget who pointed out, but I downloaded the Audible. I couldn't get through 15 minutes of it, man. It's like it's epic fantasy. I just don't think I'm an epic fantasy guy.
Yeah.
There's the language is a little too drawn out for me. I'm just not my wheelhouse.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, Patricia Briggs, Mercy Thompson series, urban fantasy, really good writing. We will definitely talk about Fairy Tale when I finish with it, and Ulysses. I haven't caught up to Eminence and Shadow the last episode yet. Too busy with all the other new anime. So, but
All
Dave?
right. Well,
Dave?
First off, I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week, links to all our social media at the top of the page, and comic book reviews by our good friend Kristen. Also, I will also recommend that, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube right now, click that subscribe button. We're here every Sunday night to entertain you. Of course, the episode is left up on YouTube for you to watch at any time. If you're watching after the fact, please like and comment. It helps with the algorithm. And share with your friends. Sharing is caring. In all honesty, though, I will also recommend that you go and I know I'm late to the party on this, but go watch Wednesday. I really enjoyed the ending of it. I'm kind of excited to see season 2 of this now. Hopefully Netflix doesn't cancel it before then. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So
there it goes. Yeah, that might get a season 3. That might be a 3-er for Netflix. Hopefully, they don't just decide to cut it off. Then it really is worth it. That one.
All right. So until next time, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape caught in the door. Have a good week.